Go. What did you think of Wandavision? We're going to talk about Wandavision tonight.
I'll go after both of you guys make your first comments, since I come at it with having read some comics on this.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm interested in too because you have a little bit more of a background, Daniel, because you read the comics and all that. So we're going to talk about that. I'm excited to talk about that. I liked it, but I'm like pretty confused to be honest with you. After watching the first two episodes, I don't know what the hell is going on. Um, with that being said, yeah, it was entertaining in a weird way, but I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting format to do the series, where they're going to release 2 episodes at a time, and I think it's going to be a smarter way of doing it as opposed to Netflix, where they just release a whole season at once and let you marathon it. I think this is going to garner a lot more chatter and attention, so I think that's a smart move on Disney Plus's part.
Yeah, I think it's
But I
probably
feel
going
like
to be
right now,
one episode at a time. I think they just released the first two to kick
sure,
start
sure.
it, but I think it'll be like one episode at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps them kind of control the narrative of primetime, if you will. Like the era of like primetime slots are done, and this is going to be a chance for them to really, um, boost themselves up on the priority list. Because if it's only one episode, you can sit down with the family or whenever you plan on watching like an hour or two of TV and saying, well, like let's just watch like the latest episode. So it makes it a lot more approachable, I think, in that regard. As far as like my thoughts so far, I think it's really refreshing based on a lot of other approaches that they could have done for this. Um, I think it's going to be just based on what I've seen from the trailer and outside of like the first 2 episodes. I think they're gonna really get creative with it, and that's exciting to see. But just on like the first 2 episodes, I think I really appreciated like the fresh take or like their spin on the golden era of television. Like that's an era of television that I spent a lot of time inadvertently watching as a child. It's like I Love Lucy and Leave It to Beaver. Like they definitely hit that like that nuclear family vibe really, really well. As far as like what I'm expecting for the rest of it, I think they're doing a good job of planting seeds to diverge from that.
Yeah, it's sort of they kind of like reference or they have there's a nod to Bewitched, which is one of the shows
Yeah,
that I
with like
used to watch. Yeah, growing up.
yeah, it's exactly what Emily said. She's like, this is just Bewitched.
Yeah, pretty much the first episode at least.
Yeah, I mean, Bewitched is probably the best comparison because it's the adult couple together. What I before I delve into like more more details, I do want to comment that what makes me happy about this is 2 of the best actors that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has are Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, and they haven't really had much of a chance to do much
Shine and be on their own.
She's very nice to look at. I like the show just because I get to look at her a lot.
And I'm very grateful that they're getting a chance to flex on this, and not to mention the whole like the side character. There's like the guy who plays his boss is fantastic actor.
Who do you guys think is cuter, her or Scarlett Johansson?
Vision. Vision is the correct answer to that question, Bruno.
Vision is very cute. Vision is very cute. I mean, that's definitely a valid answer.
So, aside like from my other comments, what got me about this is how I'm not necessarily sure where this is going either. this very much feels like they're taking inspiration from Tom King's run on the Vision comics in terms of setting, but that comic was more about Vision coming to terms with trying to live an idyllic regular life when he's basically
So
a
tell us a little bit
superpower.
about the comics, because what are the comics about, and is this based on the comics or not?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that like that is more about the Vision trying to come to terms with his
So
powers
it's a
and
comic.
living a regular life.
So it's a comic called Wandavision.
Well, no, it's the Vision and the Vision Family by with Tom King.
Mm-hmm.
But but like initially when I saw WandaVision was going to be have them living this like, you know, suburban idyllic, you know, American life, I felt like they were adapting that comic. However, this doesn't feel like that, because that comic was really about adapting to regular life. This doesn't feel like that. There's definitely something more sinister going on in the background here, or something more depressing.
But in the comic, is he married to Wanda as well? Yeah.
They have a family.
They have a family. They have kids.
Yeah, they do. Like, where I think we're going to be introduced to some kids later, but clearly at this point, like, this feels like it's not actually happening.
Oh, for sure.
And that's very curious to me right now. So again, for someone like me, who I was very certain that they're clearly taking setting and visual cues from that comic and taking a lot of themes from it, but there's very clearly something going on. Some of the Easter eggs kind of point to
is the comic set in the 50s as well, or
no?
not?
It's more modern.
So it's just set in modern day America,
right? But like, and so just like so that's why I'm saying the comic doesn't really seem to be in play here. So I had to sort of pause it a couple times to look for some of the Easter eggs to see if they're hinting at anything. Like, I think there might be there's a Marvel organization that gets teased in there called SWORD.
Oh yeah, I saw the sword emblem on the helicopter.
Yeah,
that was the most obscure Easter egg I think I caught on my like first watch through.
And so from what I recall, that's an organization that basically treats metahumans like as basically sentient weapons, and that's how they want to treat. And so that'd be interesting to go by. Now, everybody here are they caught up with the MCU movies?
Yeah, I'm not caught up with the movies, but I know a good bit, and I'm not concerned about spoilers.
Do you know about the Vision's current status in the
movies?
That's
I know he dies and he gets brought back and then he dies again.
Well,
I think
he's dead because
Endgame.
Yeah, he's dead because even though he wasn't killed, he's dead because essentially he wasn't killed in the snapshot, which is the best way to refer to how everybody died via the Thanos snap.
Yeah.
I credit Glenn Weldon from NPR's Pop Culture Happy Hour with that. I will shamelessly take it.
Calling it the Thanos snap?
Huh?
The Thanos snap?
No, he calls it the snapshot.
Oh, the snapshot. I gotcha.
Yes, and he's just like, that should have been what they called it in the movies. And I agree. But I think since the Vision is one of the characters that didn't die because of that, and so that's why he wasn't brought back when they reversed.
Well, he was killed by her, right? Isn't that what it was?
No, didn't Thanos remove the Soul Stone from him?
I think she removed it. I think she was forced to remove the stone from him.
Oh yeah, she removed it from him. Which is why I wonder, because Wanda in this almost seems complicit in whatever is going on with this weird place that she's in right now, that she and Vision are in.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I wonder if this is going to be, and if this is how they're going to be handling this, and is going to be dealing a lot about grief and depression, and Wanda's dealing with it because she has reality altering powers.
Right.
And
yeah, I mean,
I'm all aboard on Marvel going in that direction because I want more experimental storytelling to try to get at more interesting topics rather than just beat up bad guy.
Oh yeah,
And
this is interesting. I just have no idea what's going on. You know.
right, but
I,
this is why it's like I think for anybody, we have no idea what's going on. It's honestly surprising that you can't really predict how it's going on. I could have probably told you 90% of the plot points in Avengers Endgame on how they were going to,
Yeah, that was very
fix
predictable.
things. You know, it's like there's not a lot of unpredictability, and I want more of that. And maybe you can pull it off more in TV shows too, because you have more time to hide things and so maybe this format's going to be better. I mean, again, I honestly feel like maybe these comic book stuff should be just mini series or multiple seasons of a good show kind of deal, because they themselves are serials of comics, and so like they flesh their stories out. And while the movies have been a success, I'm just excited to see some experimental storytelling being done. It's just interesting this is the first one they're going with, because they had to delay the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was supposed to be their first foray into all this.
Yeah,
But
this is a weird one. It's interesting that they're starting out with this like really weird show, but at the same time, I think you know everything Marvel has worked so well so far that they're really like cocky at this point.
well,
yeah, I mean, Marvel's got the money that they can do anything they want. So I guess I'm excited to see this be a clear breakaway from anything else, and see them really just get creative with it. And I feel like right now everybody's in a state where you can't help but like theory craft about what's going to happen for the rest of the
and that's
series.
more exciting.
Yeah, and that's what makes it exciting. That's what makes it like worthy of like discussion at the watering hole and just like casual conversation. Right. That's why people were interested in Lost.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully they stick the landing better. But I think the people are getting better at understanding what their game plan is ahead of time, and so I'm more hopeful on that. I am hopeful about we talked last week in 1984 where I was saying I don't need the interconnected stuff for DC, because I'd rather them just let them do it and just do a multiverse kind of thing. Here, some of the tie-in stuff I feel like I'm a little bit happier with, because I want them to be able to do more with characters that deserve more time to do things with. Like, I don't know, I'm fairly certain that the lady that was helping them with the magic show, that's actually Monica Rambeau, who would be the daughter of Captain Marvel's friend from the Captain Marvel movie, who at some point I believe takes up the mantle of Captain Marvel in the present timeline in the comics. So that to me is something to look forward to in terms of tie-ins. But to just I would like to actually touch on one other influence here. There's a lot of Pleasantville involved in this.
Yeah, totally.
Whether it's some of it's almost a direct like take, with the whole color just starting to seep in over time.
And that's a great movie. Are you talking about the movie?
Yeah,
that's a great movie.
It makes me very curious to see if they're gonna like follow the same Pleasantville trope.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched like the full trailer of WandaVision so far?
Yeah,
the trailer alludes to it kind of not being that.
Mm-hmm.
But it still, like right now with just episodes 1 and 2, it's really hard to not feel that way.
Right, and that could just be they're starting off with like, hey, if you're gonna go with something as inspiration, Pleasantville is a great way to kick things off, but then to do your own take on it. It's just
I feel like we're definitely going to see things change It's very hard to talk about what we're gonna see next, though, because they haven't really given us a lot of clues, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I
just
wonder if
knowing.
all the episodes are gonna follow the sitcom format, or if it's just the initial ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to eventually figure out who is the one trying to contact Wanda. Um, it sounds a lot like Randall Park, who in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Agent Chu, who would be another tie-in. So they're clearly mining that for all they can. I forgot what was was he also in the Captain Marvel movie, or was he Randall Park? Let me try to
I
remember.
have no idea who that is.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever watch the show Fresh Off the Boat?
No.
Oh, oh, yeah. He
Is
was
that
Jimmy
an actor
Woo in
or a character?
Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's right. But no, another movie. Do you remember The Dictator?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one who played Kim Jong Un.
Wait, but is that so? You're talking about an actor?
Yeah, the actor. So this guy, he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp as Agent Jimmy Woo.
Agent Jimmy Woo.
Yeah,
So he's like an Asian guy.
yeah, he's
Is he
part of.
one of the FBI agents?
Well, he was one of the FBI agents, but in the comics, he's actually part of Shield. And
Okay.
so I wonder if he's also going to be connected to. I don't know if Sword is going to be what he's part of. Which, if Sword is bad, that would make me feel sad because I like the character of Jimmy Woo, but you know,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah,
I
but
never
it's
watched Shield. I don't know if that was any good. Did
no.
you?
That's
I have one friend that really likes it, but he will admit that it takes 2.5 seasons or even 3 for it to get good, and I don't have the time for that.
See, that's such a bummer because I feel the similar way that I do about DC IPs that I do with Marvel, where I think the animated format is a lot better.
So much
And
better.
I think one of my cited sources will be Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Great series.
That was a great animated series, and like it just makes you feel excited for like every character and every like introduction.
Yeah.
I feel like Shield was just way too campy and felt like a generic cop suspense show.
Yeah.
Especially considering the source material they could have been working from.
Right. And
so. Have you seen? Did you watch it or did you not watch it?
Shield.
I tried.
Yeah.
So you guys watched it or not?
I tried a couple of episodes and I didn't like it. And
Yeah.
even people who have stuck with it will tell you that it wasn't really all that good. You watch it because you're a Marvel fan and you like the Marvel stuff. And then they're like, and then it got good eventually. I'm like, okay,
I mean, I watched like 3 seasons, I think, and I mean, I don't know when it gets good, but it didn't get good while I was watching.
maybe it was season 4 when it got good.
Maybe it was season 4 when it got good. I don't know.
And that is a shame because there is a lot that you can mine with that. But the animated stuff has always been good. I mean, I grew up on 3 animated shows: the Batman animated series, Spider-Man the animated series, and X-Men. Like, those Spider-Man and X-Men shows, other than the very last season of the X-Men show, which is, we won't talk about that, were just fantastic storytelling, and they did so good. And hopefully, I feel like these Disney Plus shows for both DC and Marvel, with all the stuff they have announced with it, have an opportunity to be that for the Marvel universe to me, where they can allow, and the fact that they're basically doing not tertiary but more interesting variant type characters for them has me excited. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is probably going to be the most straightforward of those, and even that one I'm hoping has some twists with it. This one definitely seems to be the weirdest. We'll see. Actually, Loki could probably end up getting pretty weird too.
Which one?
I think Loki is going to have some strong fangirl energy.
Yeah, they're gonna have that Loki miniseries that'll
Yeah.
be.
Is WandaVision a miniseries or is it going to have more seasons?
I don't know how long you can pull off if the central premise is going to be built off of what they're doing now. I don't know if you can do more than a couple seasons.
Yeah, I think it might get like 1 or 2 tops.
To
But
me,
I think
it
they're going
feels
to
like,
do.
Go ahead.
I think they're going to, do what they've kind of done with the movies, where they, roll through like one superhero at a time,
Yeah,
just in like a season instead of a movie.
yeah, I think that should be fine. I think the format that was done with Legion, although it's not connected to all of this, is a good format where like you don't really need to do too much, and they were done after 3 seasons.
Yeah, I think this seems more adequate for one season, for a mini series. I think
Yeah, 1 or 2.
what I've seen so far.
Unless again, like this is something where this rolls into something else where Wanda is involved with that. I'm assuming that the Vision is not actually alive during all
Right.
this.
Yeah, I mean, right now my current operating like personal theory is that this is all like a hallucination, as Wanda is either in a coma or like in some kind of fugue state.
Yeah, dealing with grief and
What happened?
Right, which feels a little tropey and like predictable, but I hope it's better than that.
What happened to her? What happened to her in Avengers?
I mean, she survives, but I do feel like if she's been captured and if something's involved with her, that if they had done something to her to put her in this state, she definitely seems to be almost half complicit or understand what's happening, maybe in the subconsciously, because again, she has the ability to alter reality with her powers.
So what we're seeing is not really reality.
It probably it isn't, unless she herself is mindscaping through the multiverse, which I could totally see them working that way. Like she's like her mind is traveling through different alternate realities.
Well, that's interesting. That makes it even more interesting.
I just think there's so many ways you can go about it. I mean, again, this is why like I'm happy we finally get a chance for this, because we haven't had really opportunity for much character growth for her in the movies.
No, I mean the movies are very predictable.
Well, because she's only in the ensemble movies. It's like that's the shame of it. We haven't had opportunity to have her. I mean, again, Elizabeth Olsen, great actress.
Gorgeous, very
my
beautiful.
first I think my first movie I saw her was was a Martha May Marcy Marlene, where she is part of a cult-like commune with John Hawkes as the like figurehead of it. But really what it is it's her coming home after escaping that cult and flashbacks with it. And so she's just a fantastic actress throughout that. And I'm just like, this gives her so much more range to work with.
She's actually related to those Olsen twins, I think.
Yeah, she's the younger sister, I think.
She's her sister?
Yeah, she's their younger sister.
Really? I thought she was like a cousin.
No, she's their sister, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Let me make sure I'm right. That would be really dumb of me to be wrong about that.
Let me Google her. So Elizabeth Olsen, right? Oh, really?
Yeah, those are her sisters.
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah.
It's funny because the sisters used to be really famous, right? But then they kind of disappeared. And she was
Olsen twins?
And now she.
Yeah, the Olsen twins. She is their younger sister.
Hmm.
And it's also funny because they used to be like really good looking and they were all in all those movies, and now they're still okay, but she looks a lot better than them.
Yeah, she's honestly she's just a fantastic actress. So, and Paul Bettany as well. Like these are actual stuff for some of the better actors to get opportunities to do, like, and I'm excited for that. I don't need to see. I mean, I did look it up. WandaVision is listed as a mini series, so clearly this is. I think this might be what is helping to probably launch the
Yeah,
next phase of
mini.
Marvel Universe, because this will probably set the stage for a lot of things that they'll try to introduce,
And it's only
which
it's
gives
it's only going to be 9 episodes, so it's not that long.
right.
If it's a mini series and it's only 9 episodes, I mean, we've already seen two.
Yeah, great. That's
Yeah,
I want more concentrated, smaller series. Like, you know, so many shows are like, we need to have 23 episodes.
and it's
It's like, okay, well, only like 9 or 10 of those are great. So
Right.
yeah, and it's launching Phase 4. Not that it truly matters, but it's supposedly this is launching Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
right, and then Wanda's going to have a big role in the next Doctor Strange movie, which is going to be very multiverse oriented. So again, multiverse stuff could come into play with all this, which could mean whatever some villains that get introduced from this. We don't know who the next big Marvel big bad is. It should be Doctor Doom now that they have X-Men again, because nothing that's how you top Thanos, is you bring in Doctor Doom. But
Hey, I'm actually excited for that because all of the Fantastic Four movies have sucked massive buttholes,
yes,
and Doctor Doom is so sick.
he's
So
the best.
like, yeah, like even just like in Marvel versus Capcom, I love Doom.
Yeah,
I thought
So I'm excited to see a good Doctor Doom.
I want them in this multiverse to accidentally bring forth his home country in the main Marvel universe.
Latveria, Latverian pride.
Yes, bring
Oh.
Latveria, bring Victor Von Doom into all of this. Revive Norman Osborn as a legit enemy, and then really have the two, like, and the Magneto, I guess, because now they have X-Men as well. It's just like, these are three of the most interesting and capable villains that Marvel has not had a chance to do much with on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's our opportunity to do so, and if WandaVision kicks it off in some way, I'm all for it. I'm excited to see how they pull that off. But man, I'm in the dark too, having read what this is supposed to be inspired off of.
I really want to see like some of these super obscure superheroes come back. I know that's like a typical like niche nerd request, but I was really excited for years and years on the rumor of a Squirrel Girl movie.
Did you see Disney has a Squirrel super squirrel movie coming out that is not Squirrel Girl?
What?
Yeah.
You said those words in the wrong order to make me happy.
Okay. Disney has a super squirrel movie.
Okay, hang on. I don't know Super Squirrel. So I gotta.
And it's not Squirrel Girl. As much as Anna Kendrick keeps asking to play her.
Yeah, and like obviously Anna Kendrick would be a fantastic, casting choice for Squirrel Girl.
Right.
I'm just getting like goofy Photoshop pictures of squirrels in Superman outfits.
No,
when I Google Super Squirrel.
Let me try and find it. I know that like when I sent it to my friends, I was like my other my like comic nerd friends, that I was like,
your real friends.
No, I wouldn't say real friends so much as these are the guys who we do all the our comic stuff with. Oh yeah, it's called Flora and Ulysses. And my comment was, Disney made a squirrel superhero movie that isn't Squirrel Girl. No, these are the guys that I go to Comic-Con with and stuff. So
right. Yeah, this I'm looking at it, and this is really just not the unbeatable Squirrel Girl.
No, it's not.
Okay, so what do you guys think is going to happen in the next episodes then? Like, what is this about? Can we make some predictions? Because at this point, we haven't really been given much.
I feel like there's going to be two themes with this. There's going to be whoever is has done this to Wanda, and like there's going to be some nefarious thing with that. But
So,
the underlying theme is going to be Wanda dealing with her grief over Vision's death.
so you think they kidnapped her or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely going to come down to her dealing with Vision's death, just like Dan said. The question is like, where is she? How is she being contacted right now? Like,
Yeah.
clearly, this is all like an imaginary universe.
I just don't know who's done this to her. I think the sword tease is interesting. I don't know. I mean, we already still have you have elements within the MCU now that definitely want to control the metahumans and the superheroes. You see, you have that William Hurt character, General Thunderbolt Ross, who's been in a couple of movies, going all the way back to the Incredible Hulk movie, but he was also in, I think, Civil War, who he has a history in the comics of being very much about we need to like these are our weapons, and so I think he could be involved in Sword if this is where they're going. And I think the Sword tease is going to be more than just like an Easter egg. You don't just put that there in a very obvious like red helicopter.
Where did you see that?
I mean, I think that's like a pretty big clue.
So when remember that red helicopter, like that toy helicopter and whatnot, there's a symbol on it that for Sword, which is an organization within the MCU.
Okay, so what does Sword do in the MCU?
They believe
they basically they weaponize anybody with superpowers.
Right.
Okay.
Which actually traces a bit to Wanda's character origins within the MCU, where she was built as a Hydra weapon or created as a Hydra weapon along with her brother.
Right.
If you remember all the way back to Avengers Age of Ultron,
the
Dark Days.
Well, he died, right, in that movie.
Yeah. That was a lame death.
Was he Quicksilver? I think he was Quicksilver.
He was Quicksilver, yeah. That was pretty lame.
The acronym for SWORD, Bruno, is Sentient World Observation and Response Department.
Okay, which is interesting because there were two Quicksilvers at the same time. You had the Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, who was fantastic.
Yeah, you had Magneto's son Quicksilver, and then
Yeah.
Pietro Quicksilver, which I feel like was more licensing discrepancies than anything.
Yeah, it was very much they just were not allowed to be the son, the children of Magneto.
Right, like they could never call Wanda Scarlet Witch, and they never explicitly referred to her as the Scarlet Witch because I think it's Fox Media owns the rights to a lot of the X-Men IPs, just like Sony still might own the rights to Spider-Man.
Well, but now that
Spider-Man 3.
Now that Disney owns 20th Century Fox, they
just bought them out so they could get Spidey, or so they could get X-Men.
Yeah, they still can't get Spidey, but you know,
Sony still got their.
Yeah, they tried to buy Spider-Man. I think Sony wanted $5 billion for. If I'm not mistaken, that's how much they wanted.
A small price to pay for Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, Spider-Man is in a huge franchise. I mean, out of comic book characters, he ranks up there with Batman, Superman, and as the two most recognizable comic book character, as the three most comic book.
And I think for Sony, it didn't really.
Yeah, he was an ice cream
to sell him because he's huge for Sony. They don't really have a lot of big franchises. But
really the only good movie Sony's made with him in years has been the Spider-Verse. So,
I mean, I agree with you, but the Spider-Man: Homecoming, Long Way, or
Far From Home,
and the first one all did really well, and I think they've kind of hit their stride with casting Tom Holland.
Yeah. I'm still disappointed. I'm still disappointed on a fundamental level on them, though. They basically call him Peter Parker, but most of this feels like this character should have been Miles Morales.
I mean, I would have just preferred to see like a full-on Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yes.
Like, Ever since like it blew up on Twitter with Donald Glover, like
Yeah.
I'm never getting off that hype train.
They'll probably use Miles Morales, but the thing is, Miles Morales is the character, is the hero in the animation series. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do a sequel for that movie.
Oh, the Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, that was just fantastic.
Yeah, so you can't really have two Miles Morales. Like it
I
would
think
be even more confusing. It's already
There are already
confusing.
5 Spider-Man.
I mean,
There's
it's already very
Peter Parker,
confusing,
Peter
but-
B. Parker,
and they're
Spider-Gwen,
already in the next
Peter
Spider-Man
Porker.
movie is apparently going to have all the Spider-Man from previous Spider-Man movies in it, including Tobey Maguire.
Really? I've
Yeah.
heard Tobey Maguire is like a real piece of shit.
He's apparently pretty bad.
Like he's like truly just an awful person.
Yeah.
And there's a reason he's not being cast by Hollywood anymore.
What-
I
what-
feel like that really
what did
says
he
something
do?
for you to get blacklisted by Hollywood.
What did he do?
He's Christian Bale without the talent as
Yeah.
Christian Bale, which Christian Bale is also not easy to work with.
Well, I mean, but there's a difference between not being easy to work with and being a horrible person.
But if you're not easy to work with and you're also not that good, I mean, he's had some good movies, Tobey Maguire. But
Well, I think the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire were by far the best, personally.
well, especially the second one with Alfred Molina.
I mean, I would say all three of them. All three of them are fantastic. The third
I
one,
didn't
the
like-
last.
I
but-
didn't like the third one at all.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, fair enough. But I think as a whole, the three Spider-Man, the first three
Yeah.
Spider-Man movies are fantastic.
Yeah,
And-
Sam Raimi seemed to understand a lot more about what makes Spider-Man great than surprisingly many other directors haven't been able to get right for whatever
Well,
reason.
and I like this is coming from someone who really liked the animated version. I love the Miles Morales movie. I thought that was great. Into the Spider-Verse, and I really liked Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, not really but I liked it. The only ones I didn't like are the new ones because he's like Iron Man's patch, basically. So to me, that's not really Spider-Man. But
Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball on him being. I think it's much cooler when he made his own gadgets.
yeah, man. I mean, Spider-Man is much bigger than Iron Man. I mean, before the Marvel Cinematic Universe came out, I mean, Spider-Man was what, like 100 times bigger than Iron Man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
to
I feel like when
have
they
Spider-Man
decided to
be
pursue,
like Iron Man's sidekick makes me a little bit mad.
yeah, I feel like once they decided to pursue the Avengers, they had to make some creative choices, and Spider-Man was always like distinctly separate from large chunks of the rest of the Marvel universe, just because Spider-Man was so big for so long that
he actually
they really
interacted
didn't
more
have-
with the Fantastic Four in the comics.
right.
He more closely
And-
aligned with them in the X-Men. I mean,
And it's really interesting to me that all of the Fantastic Four movies have like sucked so bad.
like
Well, the first two are watchable. The last one, well, I mean,
They're all bad.
they're bad, but watchable bad, right?
They're like
Most-
so bad that nobody ever has a complaint about Chris Evans being multiple Marvel superheroes. People are like, how come he gets to be Johnny Flame and Captain America? Nobody cares because Johnny Flame sucked so bad.
Well, nobody really watches those movies anymore, so yeah, it doesn't.
I know because the Fantastic Four movies were just tragic.
But they're also
It's-
from a different time. Those movies.
No, not really.
Oh, yeah.
The last one came out in like 2018.
yeah, the Fan Four Stick.
No, I'm talking about the ones with Chris.
The what?
Fan Four Stick. If you look at the way the logo is, it looks you call it Fan Four Stick. Look how they designed the logo for it.
This is like the Resident Evil 6 logo looking like a giraffe getting blown by a guy.
Yeah.
Fant Four Stick.
Well, but I was talking about the old ones. Then you had the reboot, which I don't think it's from
Didn't
2018.
those ones come on the heels of the
2017.
good X-Men movies? Like, the first couple of Bryan Singer ones? I thought those ones were right around the same time as that.
They were, but Fox also dropped the ball with Daredevil. A lot of those movies were really not that good at that time. That's why the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire are so impressive, because they were really fantastic. And
You got to give good directors the ability to, or people who know these properties. I mean, Sam Raimi
Well,
is
Spider-Man, it was two movies really that made superhero movies big. It was Spider-Man and then X-Men, or actually the other way around. X-Men and then Spider-Man.
X-Men made it possible for everybody after
And
that for a
Spider-Man,
bit.
because X-Men was big, but we're talking about like 300,000, something like that in the box office. And then Spider-Man came out and it made almost $1 billion. And they were like, holy shit, people really go watch these things. But X-Men was the first one. Actually, Blade came first, but Blade was kind of a smaller thing.
Yeah, Fantastic Four, the first one the first one they made with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans. That was
Oh,
2005. That was
Oh,
5
that's
years
right.
after X-Men.
Yeah, if you
with,
compare those movies to like those 2000 to 2008 movies, I mean, yeah, they're okay.
I mean, those are also like what I would call secondary Marvel properties. Like they exist and they make money on them, but Marvel clearly doesn't care about them that much.
No,
X-Men and Fantastic Four.
X-Men, and Spider-Man.
I mean, I guess I think X-Men like they care about it a little bit more.
I mean,
No,
that was at different times in history. Those were the most popular comics.
no, they were by
Oh,
far
for
the
sure.
most popular, but it was because they didn't have the license, man. They didn't have. They
Yeah.
sold them. They sold them. That's why
Mhm.
they couldn't
Because
make.
Marvel was broke. Marvel was broke.
Yeah.
Like
That was
they
before
were.
Disney bought them. They sold their biggest moneymakers, which were Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and I
And
think
the Hulk.
the Hulk as well. Yeah. So
Those were their
are the
foremost.
Oh yeah.
Those were
Those
their foremost
Yeah.
profitable
There was
and recognizable.
exactly. Those are the big four. Those are the big four, and they
Right.
sold all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from like a managerial standpoint, it makes sense that Marvel was scooped up by the House of Mouse.
And
I
and
mean, if they were mismanaged and they were sitting on a gold mine,
well,
like,
they were kind of like bankrupt, so they had to sell, I think. But that's why they haven't made Hulk movies anymore, because they still, I don't think they still don't quite have the rights for the Hulk. I don't think
Right,
they can make Hulk movies.
I mean, that's why the third Thor movie was half Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk is one of the seminal Hulk comic stories.
They keep putting Hulk into everything they can put Hulk in, because they know that the Hulk is like the big one. Maybe now a little bit less, because the MCU changed the balance of power. But before, I mean, the Hulk probably sold 5 times more than Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America together. The Hulk.
I would argue that out of the first several movies that they made, Captain America was still the one, oddly enough, probably had the most circulation at that point when they started this out.
Probably Captain America, yeah. But very far from the Hulk, though. Big difference. Yeah. And I don't know how they got that first movie greenlit. Like, I don't know how they were able to
greenlit because it's the Hulk.
Well, the Hulk, because it wasn't his own movie. Part of the deal is that with Paramount is that basically the Hulk can't have his own movie unless Paramount distributes it, and Marvel, now Disney, won't allow anybody else to distribute another movie.
Okay.
They only do with Spider-Man and Sony.
Basically.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a shame, man. I would like to see like some Hulk adventures, some Hulk movies.
There's some good ones if they could ever pull it off. I feel like the Hulk movies have not been as good as they could have been.
I like Mark Ruffalo too. I think he's a great Hulk, so it'd be cool for
that's
him.
Probably the best Hulk cast like that they've done.
For sure.
I mean, Edward Norton was good too, but Mark Ruffalo, I think, is even better.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll show up in She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, I heard about the She-Hulk. That's
still
on
coming
the table,
too.
isn't it?
I really hope she gets to break the fourth wall.
I hope we get to see Jenny.
Yeah.
Now that Stan Lee has passed, I really want them to replace all of his cameos with Deadpool. Just like have Deadpool doing what Stan Lee would have otherwise been doing.
That's
And
a good
you could
idea.
probably
Yeah.
convince Ryan Reynolds to do that.
Oh, he would absolutely do it, like pro bono, damn near.
Yeah, I mean, he almost made essentially his redemption Deadpool movies for pro bono, at least the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I think those were movies that, like, he was very passionate about, and I mean, he was on Twitter for years and years saying, like, I expect to do this movie.
Mhm.
And when they finished shooting Deadpool 1, he just walked off the set with his suit. They're like, you're supposed to take that back to costume and wardrobe. He's like, no, I'm keeping this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your favorite thing about the Wandavision so far? So we can start wrapping this up.
Oh, favorite thing.
I like that Kitty from that '70s show was part
Oh,
of
Donna Joe Rupp.
was part of
Yeah.
the thing.
She is a fantastic casting decision.
That turned it into a sitcom,
Yeah.
full on sitcom. It was Kitty was there.
Yeah, I mean, I think she just fits so well in that, like, era of television.
The only problem is that it wasn't the '70s. I don't know when the show is set. I think it's more like. Do you guys think it's?
Well, they're
the
gonna do a
50s or the
'70s episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's coming up.
Which
They're gonna
hopefully
do a
it's trippy.
'70s episode.
I really hope that. I hope they go. The next. It looks like the next episode they're gonna have like classic Scarlet Witch and Vision costumes as well, like from like, their original appearances. So that'll be cool. What I am liking, my favorite parts so far are just that this is a 2-man series or a 2-act. Like I appreciate that they are.
It's a duo series.
Yeah, that we are getting a 2-man play of 2 fantastic actors, and I'm all for it, and I'm excited to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see.
What about
My
you?
favorite thing so far, I really appreciate the dedication to recreating the like the nuclear era of television.
Mm-hmm.
Like even just like the little special effects of like when they get the rings. Like you can see that they just like straight up they did the effects as they would have done in the 40s. Where they just like stopped the camera and then paused it. Like their hand moves a little bit, and like everything is just perfect as far as being like delightfully tacky and feeling authentically like a true production that was done, in the 40s with like the Bewitched era.
Yeah,
because there's this little special place in my heart for that era of television.
One
nice
thing
to
I'm
see, like,
thankful
a
for,
love
this
letter to
is
it.
the first Disney Plus original series that I've watched where the sound quality was okay.
Oh, you've had problems with sound quality?
I feel like it's very quiet. Disney Plus is very quiet.
What?
Like I've had issues with that with The
have that issue.
Mandalorian,
I didn't have that.
and this was the first one. I looked online. Apparently, I'm not the only one who's feeling this way. That it feels very quiet, unless like, And so I've been tweaking with my sound systems, trying to figure it out. So that's one thing I'm thankful for, that I didn't have issues with the background music drowning out the voice of the actors.
Sure.
Okay. Well, that's another plus.
Yeah, I mean that's I'll try and be more mindful of that and see if I notice anything. But I feel like it's a increasingly valid critique to critique the quality of a stream, especially for these things that are only releasing via streaming service now.
Yeah, I mean the quality of the Wonder Woman 1984 stream was subject of I think
I didn't like it.
Yeah. I'll be very interested to see how it goes forward. I will say that actually, it's the second thing that sounded great on Disney Plus for me, because I watched Soul this past weekend as well.
Oh yeah, how'd you like it?
I want to do Soul. We should do an episode of Soul.
Yes,
I could do that.
Is it good?
I will totally do that because I love that movie.
In fact, yesterday I was gonna watch Soul, but then I kind of wanted to leave it for a podcast.
Yeah, just sit down with Beth and watch it, man.
And we'll do a podcast.
It's definitely a good couple movie. It's very girlfriend friendly.
You've already watched it, Ian?
Yeah.
All right,
Emily
awesome.
and I
So
watched
so
it
so I need
a
to
week or
watch
two
it.
ago.
Do you guys
Yeah,
want to do
Lauren
a
and I
podcast
watched
on it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm down. I
All right.
could even rewatch it. Honestly, it's that
same.
good.
Okay, so all right, so WandaVision. All right, so we liked it. Did we like it?
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. It was very confusing because I had
I'm,
no idea what was going on, but I
I'm
thought it
excited.
was interesting. It's very interesting.
I will say this could be a candidate for a show that we do frequent shows on as stuff happens, because I think stuff's gonna happen. They might not have to be long podcasts because there might just be
Just
interesting.
like shorter podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could knock these out in like half-hour installments, especially if
Yeah.
we're gonna do like, if
Yeah,
it's gonna be like one episode. We could do like 20-30 minute chats on it.
Yeah,
yeah, because we can't do a 1 hour episode on an episode
On a
that is only
half-hour show.
30 minutes long. You know.
right.
It's
So-
really milking the cow there.
Yeah. So all right, sounds good. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and
Yeah, man.
we'll see you soon.